Annyeonghaseyo, Chingus. Welcome to this political, historical, and sociological channel. Today, I'm going to share with you a different kind of video because I want to share how did Christmas start. Well, in a few days it will be Christmas, so I think this topic is very interesting. I would like to know what you think in the comment section. The middle of winter has long been a time of celebration around the world. Centuries before the arrival of the man called Jesus, early Europeans celebrate light and birth in the darkness days of winter. Many peoples rejoice during the winter solstice, when the worst of the winter was behind them. They could look forward to longer days and extended hours of sunlight. In Scandinavia, the Norse celebrated Yule from December 21. It was the winter solstice through January. In recognition of the return of the sun, fathers and sons will bring home large logs, which they will set on fire. The people will fast until the log burned out. The Norse believed that each spark from the fire represented a new pig or calf that would be born during the coming year. The end of December was a perfect time for celebration in most areas of Europe. At that time of year, most cattle were slaughtered, so they would not have to be fed during the winter. For many people, it was the only time of the year when they had a supply of fresh meat. In addition, most wine and beer made during the year was finally fermented and ready for drinking. Germany people honored the pagan god Odin during the midwinter holiday. Germans were terrified of Odin, as they believed he made nocturnal flights through the sky to observe his people, and then decide who would prosper or perish. Because of his presence, many people choose to stay inside. In Rome, where winters were not as harsh as those in the far north, Saturnalia, a holiday in honor of Saturn, the god of agriculture, was celebrated, beginning in the wheat, landing up the winter solstice and continuing for a full month. Saturnalia was a hedonistic time, and food and drink were plentiful, and the normal Roman social order was turned upside down. For months, enslaved people were given temporary freedom. Business and schools were closed, so that everyone could participate in holidays festivities. Also, around the time of winter solstice, Romans observed Juvenalia, a feast honoring the children in Rome. In addition, members of the upper classes often celebrated the birthday of Mitra on December 25. Mitra was an ancient Persian god of light. It was believed that Mitra, ordained as infant god, was born of a rock. For some Romans, Mitra's birthday was the most sacred day of the year. In the later Roman Empire, Mitra blended with Sol Invictus, god of the corrected sun. Some theories believe the early Roman Catholic Church may have chosen the same date for Christmas in order to supplant the pagan ritual. Ancient Norsemen of Scandinavia celebrate Yule from the winter solstice through January. The Inca Empire paid homage to the sun god Inti at winter solstice celebration called Inti Raymi, Quechua for sun festival. In Peru, like the rest of the southern hemisphere, the winter solstice takes place in June. The Incas fasted for 3 years before the solstice. Before dawn the day of the solstice, they went a ceremonial plaza and waited for the sunrise. When it appeared, they crunched down before it, offering a golden cup of chicha, a sacred beer made for fermented corn. Animals, including llamas, were sacrificed during the ceremony, and the Incas used a mirror to focus the sun rays and kindle a fire. After the Spanish conquer of the Inca Empire in the 15th, the Spaniards banned the Inti holiday. It was revived in the 20th century with mock sacrifices and continues today. The Chinese celebration of the winter solstice, Dongxi, which means winter arrives, welcomes the return of longer days and the corresponding increase in positive energy in the year to come. The celebration may have begun as harvest festival, when farmers and fishermen took time off to celebrate with their families. Celebration may have begun as harvest festival, when farmers and fishermen took time to celebrate with their families. Today, it remains an occasion for families to join together and celebrate the year that has passed, and share good wishes for the year to come. The most traditional food for this celebration in southern China is the glutinous rice balls, known as tang yuan, after brilliantly colored and cooked in sweet or savory broth. Northern Chinese enjoy plain or meat-stuffed dumplings, a particularly warming and nourishing food for a midwinter celebration. In Japan, it is known as toji. The winter solstice is a less festival than a traditional practice centered on starting the new year with health and good luck. It's a particular sacred time of the year for farmers who welcome the return of the sun that will nurture their crops after a long cold winter. People light bonfires to encourage the sun's return. Huge bonfires burn on Mount Fuji each December 22. A widespread practice during the winter solstice is to take warm baths essence with yuzu, a citrus fruit which is said to warn off colds and foster good health in sick people. Many public baths and hot springs throw yuzu in the water during the winter solstice. Many Japanese people also eat kabocha squash, known in the United States as Japanese pumpkin, on the solstice, as it is also thought to bring luck. Shab-e-Yalda. Yalda night is an Iranian festival celebrated in the longest and darkest nights of the year. The celebration springs out of ancient Zoroastrian traditions and customs intended to protect people from evil spirits. On Shab-e-Yalda, which translates to Night of Fear, Iranians all over the world celebrate the triumph of the sun god Mitra over darkness. According to tradition, people gather together to protect each other from evil, burn fires to light their way through the darkness, and perform charitable acts. Friends and family join to making wishes, feasting of nuts and other festive foods, and reading poetry, especially the work of 14th century Persian poet Hafiz. Some stay awake all night and rejoice in the moment when the sun rises, banishing evil and announcing the arrival of the goodness. For the Sunni, one of the Native American people in western New Mexico, the winter solstice signifies the beginning of the year. It's marked with a ceremonial dance called Chalaku. After fasting, prayer, and observing the rising, setting of the sun for several days before the solstice, the Pequin or sun prayers traditional announce the exact moment of the rebirth of the sun. By holding Christmas at the same time as traditional winter solstice festivals, church leaders increased the chances that Christmas will be popularly embraced, but gave up the ability to dictate how it was celebrated. By the Middle Age, Christianity had, for the most part, replaced pagan religion. On Christmas, believers attended church, then celebrate raucously in drunken carnival-like atmosphere similar to Mardi Gras. Each year, a beggar or student will be crowned the Lord of Misrule, and eager celebrants played the part of his subjects. The poor will go to the houses of the rich and demand their best food and drink. If owners failed to comply, their visitors will most likely terrorize them with mischief, like in Halloween, like trick or treat. Christmas became the time of the year when people upper classes could repair their real or imagined debt to society by interning less fortunate citizens, helping them. A Christmas Carol. Also around this time, English author Charles Dickens created the classic holiday tale, A Christmas Carol. The story's message the importance of charity and goodwill towards all humankind. It had many power in the United States and England and showed members of Victorian society the benefits of celebrating the holiday. The family was also becoming less disciplined and more sensitive to the emotional needs of children during the early 80s. Christmas provided families with a day when they could lavish attention and give on their children without appearing to spoil them. As Americans began to embrace Christmas as a perfect family holiday, all customs were unearthed. People looked toward recent immigrants and Catholic and Episcopal churches to see how the day should be celebrated. In the next 100 years, Americans built a Christmas tradition all their own and include pieces of many other customs, including decorating trees, sending holiday cards, and the gift giving. But who invented Santa Claus? The legend of Santa Claus can be traced back to a monk named Saint Nicholas, who was born in Turkey around 280 before Christ. Saint Nicholas gave away all this inherited wealth and traveled the countryside helping the poor and sick, becoming known as the protector of children and sailors. Saint Nicholas first entered American popular culture in the late 18th century in New York, when Dutch families gathered to honor the anniversary of the death of Saint Nicholas, Dutch for Saint Nicholas, or Sinterklaas, for short Santa Claus, thus his name for this abbreviation. Rudolph, the most famous reindeer of all, was a product of Robert L. May's imagination in 1939. The copywriter wrote a poem about the reindeer to help lure customers into the Montgomery Ward department store. I would really like to know in the comments what do you think about this. You know the origins of Christmas? Do you like Christmas? How do you celebrate Christmas? Thank you very much. If you like, I wish you could give me thumbs up, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. See you next time. 안녕.